Some have listened to me on radio. I work on 933 KFM in the morning. I also work on NTV as a TV host. I have a baking show. So I also have a side gig as a baker. I'm a content creator. I'm an events host. I write. I have a couple of things that I do. And all those fall within the gig economy. All those are things that I do. And one of the things that I'm constantly asked is, how do you juggle all these things? I mean, how do you do all these things? And what people don't know is that I started working at the age of 16. And a lot of it was because of necessity. It wasn't because I was just passionate about these things, but it's because we needed money. I needed money. And getting into the gig economy, a lot of it will happen because you need to. It's necessity. You need to make money. You need to earn a life. You have certain dreams, the things you want to do with your life, right? And today we get to talk about how to become a gig star in Matoke Republic, which is Uganda, really. Okay? Please, next slide. How many of us know the Ugandan dream? Do we know the Ugandan dream? What it looks like? Is it there? That's a good question. Now, the Ugandan dream looks like this because there's such a word as the American dream, but the Ugandan dream looks a little bit like this. You go to school all the way to university. After university, companies are clamoring for you, and they're saying, we want to appoint this guy. It's the guy in our company, okay? And you get a job, you grow through the ranks, you find a very beautiful woman or man, you have a family, you build your own home, and then you buy your own car. And that's what success looks like for the average Ugandan. That's what the Ugandan dream really is. But I hope that by the end of this conversation, two things will have happened. One, you'll probably start redefining success and what it looks like for you. Two, you'll go to bed and ask yourself, do I really want to continue doing what I'm doing? Now, let's move on to the next slide. Now, we were sold probably one of the most impressive lies in history. At least I was sold that lie. That after graduating, this is what the ladder would look like. Goals, action, would get to success. And by now, I'd be very successful. I'd have grown through the ranks. And let me tell you, I've since taken on so many jobs that I can count. And I know how much of a lie that is. The previous speakers before me were talking about the growing trends within the education sector, how education has changed. And I'm constantly having an argument with people on radio, people I meet on a daily, that the Ugandan education sector doesn't really speak to what the economy looks like today, doesn't speak to the industries that that people work within today. And that means that along the way, you'll have to change, you'll have to adapt, and you have to learn what works for today. And today we get to talk the gig economy. One of the things that happened during COVID-19 is that for many of us who already are within the gig economy, we had to open our eyes that to survive, you'll need a lot more than just doing one thing at a time. I'm going to ask you a few questions as we go along. Please bear with me and indulge me a little bit. How many of us here would say that we earn 5 million plus? By show of hands, don't fear. There's no one from URA in here, and if they are in here, I've told them to close their eyes. Okay, I see two people. How many people would say they earn about 3 million plus on a month? Okay, see. The rest of us, tuli kuchi. And then the movie. Things are really, really bad. Okay, so how many of us would say we are below 1 million? Eh? Tuli wano. All right. Now, unfortunately, the economy today looks a little bit like this, okay? In a working population of over 22.8 million, only 1% earn 1 million. That's how serious things are. Only 1% earn 1 million. So the 4 people that have put up their hands, you are in that lucky 1% in the entire country. And out of that, over 49% earn less than 150,000 Ugandan shillings. So when they tell you that Ugandans are surviving on less than $1, believe them. This 150,000 for half of a working population in this country. Per month, someone is surviving on 150,000 per month for their family, and they're raising children on that earning. If you want to grow out of this, because our economy is largely informal, if you want to grow out of these numbers, we're going to share with you what I think helped me to grow from the 49% to the 1%. First of all, we'll be looking nice like this. But the beauty of it is that it comes with a certain amount of independence. You get to decide how you want your work to look like. You get to decide structure for yourself. You get to decide when you wake up, when you go to bed. And I know for my 8 to 5, that sounds like real freedom, right? That sounds nice. I have a friend who's called Biwol. Biwol wakes up at midday. And I envy that so much. So you get to have some bit of independence. You have control. You have control over how you decide you want to work, how you want success to look like, how you manage your business, how you talk to people, how you deliver, and that is something that many of us would want in our daily work. But there are things that for that to happen, for you to get into that space and be able to thrive within an economy where there's no structure, where you have to manage yourself, there are a few things you're going to have to do. Because many of us think that when we get out of employment and then we get into entrepreneurship, it's going to be rosy because here, I'm doing my own thing. I know what I'm doing, right? And then you discover that many of us can't work without structure. Many of us can't work without someone supervising us. Many of us can't deliver beyond that. For it to work for you, these are the things that I've personally employed within my career and they've really, really helped. I'm not saying you will get all these things at once. The first thing that you need is ethics. You know, in a workplace or in your companies or where you work, there are ethics, right? You follow a specific set of rules, specific set of principles that determine how you operate daily. Now, even when you get into the gig economy and you're taking on different jobs, different careers, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you will still need ethics that train, that help you manage yourself, help you manage perception, and help you deliver. The next thing that you're going to need is personal discipline. You guys, I get to work at 5:30. Sometimes I'll get there like at exactly 5:50, and my first link of the day is at 5:55, which is a prayer. I oftentimes miss that. So the other day, me and my boss were talking, and he said, "You are able to make it for the first link, which is at 6. So what is failing the one for 5:55?" And he said that strictly speaks down to discipline. You either choose to make it or you don't. And even within the gig economy where things aren't so structured, you will need discipline. You will need to know that if I communicate I'm going to do this, I will do it. If I entrust somebody with work, I will deliver. So you need lots and lots of discipline. Okay? You also need financial literacy. How many of us know how to manage our money and know how to grow it? Because I don't. I happen to make good amounts of money, but I won't lie to you. I probably fall under the section of Ugandans that at the end of the month, you're asking yourself, where has the money gone? Am I eating more? What is that is how bad it is. So when it comes, and this is an area that I'm continuously working on day by day, learning how to better myself, especially within my other businesses like the cake business. It is a continuous learning exercise because the beauty of the gig economy is that you will be introduced to so many opportunities, so many careers. You'll even wake up one day and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I now want to get into this space. And that means that you will learn financial literacy 101. You go back down there and have to relearn how business works, how those business models work, and how to finance your businesses, but also how to grow as an individual. So we might think we know how to make money, how to manage money, how to grow money, but when it comes to the gig economy, you probably have to learn from scratch all the time. And that means that you have to constantly be able to learn, be able to be open to learning. And the other thing that you need to be able to survive in this economy, in this growing, changing, fast-paced economy, is a growing skill set. You know, when you've worked within employment, you get really comfortable. You get used to what you do on a daily. You get used to the skills because the job is monotonous, right? You do the same thing. But in my industry, where things are very fast-paced, you have to relearn a lot. You have to learn and relearn and keep up with trends. So that means that you're always on your toes. You're always learning. So that is something that I think, not even just in the gig economy, but you must employ even within your work, even within employment in your 8 to 5. Learning and learning and learning. So you need a growing skill set. Now, of course, as I come to a conclusion, I want to ask you, how many of us would say we are happy within our careers, within our chosen careers? This is the only side. Did we divide ourselves and others on this side? Okay. The rest, you're not happy? Tulivubi. Okay. One of the things that I really, really love about my work, about my career, is that I get to meet, first of all, fantastic people like you. Some of you, I follow you. Some of you, I look up to, like Anthony, Eva, I look up to her. But every time I meet these people, they make me want to do what they do. And when you find yourself within the gig economy, you get to learn so much that you are willing to adapt all the time. And we are so rigid because change, as human beings, we don't adapt to change naturally. We like what we know, and as self-preserving human beings, we like to stick to what we understand. But I hope that as you go forward, you can challenge yourself to want to do different, to want to step out, to want to try your hands at things that you have seen happen, to want to get into spaces where there are gaps, where you can learn, where you can make money, where you can grow. And the reality is that in almost every sector you work in, there are so many gaps. There are so many gaps. And it's all about allowing yourself and your mind to adapt to the possibilities of making things happen within those areas. It really is as simple as that. Our minds are such powerful, powerful things. You can decide and wake up one day and say, I now want to get into this space. There's a gentleman who went and became a doctor at the age of 45. And at that point, you're like, you're in the evening of your career, my friend. But because he said, I'd always wanted to do it, the opportunity came up and I decided to take it up. So the thing about the gig economy is that you must always be open to adapting. You must always be open to learning. You must always be open to take up opportunities when they come your way. But you must also teach yourself how to manage and structure yourself within this economy, because there's no structure, so you need to learn how to structure. But this is the trend of workplaces. Where I work currently and where I worked even before, over 50% of the employees are freelancers and contractors. More and more people within different companies, different sectors today hire contractors and freelancers, meaning that you who relies on your 85, you who relies on permanent employment may not be there for so long. If I come and say I can do her job better and probably for maybe a little bit more pay, but bring more skills on the board, it's as simple as letting you go. So I want you to understand that as we go forward, the workspace is changing. This is a new trend. It's not a new trend, rather. You've heard of it, but it is taking over shortly. It is taking over, and it is what it is. Today, you find that there are more shared workspaces, right? You've heard of them. You see them all the time. They are growing all over the town. So that means that slowly by slowly, different sectors are embracing this economy. And this is an economy where you must learn how to thrive if you want to grow from the 49% to the 1%. And hopefully we can grow those numbers as well to more than 1%, to the entire country if possible. And that means that we must be willing to grow communities, to grow in different spaces where we don't think we really fit. Otherwise, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor. I hope that you guys can listen to me. Okay? Now, one last thing. In the gig economy, you become your work. It is your identity. So Gwani, when we say that it's Faiza who we are hiring, Gwani, your name must resonate with the value that you bring onto the table, must resonate with the work that you bring onto the table. So whatever it is they're hiring you for, they must know that this person is the right person for it, and we couldn't get any other person who's better than her. All right? So I hope today, as we go to bed, as we wake up in the morning, we're asking ourselves the question, what other things can we do beyond what we do already? What other sectors can we get in? What other gaps can we fill? And what other ways can we grow communities? Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor. I hope to return in the future. Thank you.